I'm going to show you this makeup today. I'm going out for my friend's birthday tonight. I can't wait. And loads of steps that I took in doing this makeup were designed to A, keep my makeup on all night, and B, just make it a bit lower maintenance so that as it gets a bit grungy and sweaty through the night, it's fine and it will wear nicely. So I really hope you enjoy. Today I'm actually quite happy with my skin. Like, touch wood, the texture feels fine. But I do feel like I just look a bit tired. I've had one of those weeks where I've had quite long days. I started off a little while ago using the Yopoda, the Deepuff Espresso, just, you know, those little like jelly patches that you put under your eyes to refresh them. I've never used them before. They literally just came this morning for me to try, and I wish I'd done like a before and after or something because they were lovely. So I'm glad I've kind of brightened myself that way. And then I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I'm just going to take some out with the end of my brush because basically this week, I don't know if you're one of these people, my mind is busier than the actual hours in the day. So basically this week I gave myself a big to-do list and not enough time to do it in. And I was meant to get my nails done the other day and I had to cancel them because the day was running away with me. So my nails are quite long. I do love them. I'm going to miss those little nails actually, but I'm finding that like I can't scoop. Usually I could like get my product out and it wouldn't be all in my nails, but they're just that bit too long. So I'm using the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, and just to flag, I'm posting a partnership with Bobbi Brown and Boots tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to. But I just wanted to be clear, like this isn't part of that or anything, but obviously with those kinds of partnerships, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because the reason you say yes is that you love using the product. But equally, if it was me and I was watching, I'd be a bit like, oh, you didn't tell us that you were going to do a big thing with them tomorrow. So I'm doing a little thing with them tomorrow. But the nice thing about the Vitamin Enriched Face Base, it's kind of like a moisturiser primer hybrid, and I just want something quite plumping today because I feel like my skin is a bit tired and dry. I'm going to use, I've got a bit of gradual tan on, but I haven't got loads on. So I'm going to use Fairlight in the original It Cosmetics CC cream. Depending on what I'm like with my tan, like if I've done my tan properly, I will jump up to light medium. But Fairlight Day to Day tends to be a good one for me. And then I'll bronze the outer parts of my face so that I've got a little bit of warmth, but that everything still matches nicely with my neck. Now I am just going to go for more is more portion sizes today so that this lasts the evening. And you know what, this week I've been on the train a few times. I live in Birmingham and I have to go to London a lot for work, so sometimes I'm doing my makeup on the train, or I might be doing it really early and wanting it to last the whole day. On those days, using a tiny bit more than you usually would, I know that sounds really obvious, but honestly it's like such an effective trick. I will just amp up what I would be using day to day to just get it to last that bit longer and look that bit more flawless, and you can feel like you've got a totally different makeup on. I saw a lovely girl yesterday. We had a day on counter at It Cosmetics in Covent Garden Boots, which was so lovely. I'm going to make a whole separate video about that because I had some really great discussions with people yesterday that I really enjoyed and took a lot from, and they were about ultimately the emotional knock-on that having a skin concern can have, and I just like have so much I kind of want to share from that. But this one lovely girl that I met was saying she just feels like she wants a bit more coverage from her CC cream, and I said, how much do you use? And I can't remember actually if I like led the question or whatever, but basically she doesn't use like a full pump, say, which most of the time I don't. But I was like, do me a favour before you go like buying anything else, on those days where you want a bit more coverage, because it's not going to be every single day, but like special occasion or longer work day, that kind of thing, just use like a pump dare I say, in my case, depending on how red I am, that can be going up to a pump and a half, and it makes such a difference. And that sounds really small, but sometimes I feel like, I remember years ago, I think now that I know to talk about the pump thing, it doesn't happen as often. But especially when we used to do QVC for it, and people would see me getting ready all the time and like on air, getting it on, getting it off, because we used to do it all live, which was really good because it's always a great way to show like you can put your money where your mouth is, that everything works as you're saying it's going to. But people would say, I don't get as much coverage as you. And I'd be like, yeah, but how much are you using? Because depending on how red I am, I need to go up to pump and a half sometimes. And they'd be like, oh gosh, right. And I think whatever finish you like from your foundation, whether you like something really fresh and glowy, whether you like something really, really full coverage, I would say use a generous amount of whatever formula is best for you. So like what I mean by that is sometimes people will tell me they're using a really, really full coverage foundation, but just a little bit of it because they don't want anything too heavy. I think you're better off for the long wear using the fresher, dewy thing, but a nice hearty dose of it, than trying to scale back on something that isn't really intended to be used in that way, just for the purpose of getting everything to last. And the reason I say that is if your skin feels a bit, I'm just wiping on a tissue in between steps because I'm going to use the same brush for loads of different steps. And as always, I can feel that there's a cat hair somewhere. What was I just saying? I actually love doing these longer videos, but that's one thing when you're not stopping and starting. Whatever tangent I was about to go on, I have completely forgotten. No, I haven't forgotten. I was going to say your skin. If your skin's a bit dry or dehydrated, it will suck the moisture out of any steps on your skin that it can, whether it's your moisturiser, your serum, your primer, your foundation. So the more of it you've got on, the less likely it is that it's going to take any of the bits that you do want to stay there, if that makes sense. Right, I'm going to use a little bit of the It Cosmetics Sunblush. I usually use the shade 10. I'm going to use 20, which is a little jump up. Now these are quite creamy, and this is going to be perfect because I'm going to go for like a plummy colour on my eyes. Not creamy, they are creamy. What was I meaning to say? These are quite corally is what was in my head. I'm going for more of a plum colour on my eyes, so I want something that is a bit softer on my cheeks because I want the eyes to be like the main thing. So it's my friend's birthday this evening and I love all of her friends, so like I'm so excited to see everyone. The dress I'm wearing is like plum and turquoisey. I got it ages ago and it just wasn't quite right on me and I never wore it anywhere. And I thought I'd give it another go today. And actually when you've got like the right bits under it, the right bag with it, I just felt like it'd be actually really nice. And also the weather is nicer than I was expecting today and it's quite a light dress. So perfect. But because of that, I thought, right, I'll go for a bit of a cranberry eye. I actually saw this really gorgeous eye and I saved it down the other night. I should have looked at it before I started this actually. I've got a vague recollection of it. There is the most fantastic makeup artist I follow on here, Michaela. And a couple of years ago, how many years ago would it be now? Not last year, the year before, I had gone to the It Cosmetics head office with Miranda. Oh my gosh. We need to talk about this in a minute. You're going to be fuming at me because we don't actually have it in the UK, but this has become my new favourite thing. Went to the It Cosmetics head office in New Jersey. They were doing loads of different new product shoots and I was going to be one of the before and afters in the Bye Bye Redness campaign, which was such a lovely experience. But Michaela was doing my makeup and she is just... She's a lovely, warm person, but she's so knowledgeable as well. And I just love following her. Like she'll go so much into the detail of where makeup trends originated, or she'll often show you what she's packed in her professional kit. She's such a great person to follow. So she put these photos up the other day of a shoot she'd done, and she had done this like cranberry red going into like a rose gold going into nothing. Now on black skin, because her model was black, it was so beautiful, the blend out into nothing. It will look a bit stronger on me, the colours, but it will still work. So I just saw that and thought, I really, really want to wear that. It looks amazing. So I have found this Charlotte Tilbury palette that is, I don't even know how old, very old. It's the Icon palette, this one. I love it. I'll show you the colours. It needs a wipe, I'm sorry. Absolutely lethal. Love the colours of this, and I wore this a lot before Christmas, because one thing I will say about Charlotte Tilbury, when I can get this cat hair out of my nose, is her eyeshadows blend so easily that you can kind of smush them on and then everything's fine. I'm just going to be really honest. I've been on the train, I've had these long days all week, my brushes do need a wash, so excuse me. I'm using my PC35 from Peaches and Cream. I've been threatening to wash these brushes for quite a few weeks now, haven't I? And I do know that, and we'll all brush gently over that fact. I'm going to start with a little wash of, oh, do you know what I was going to do? This is so annoying. Right, hold the line, caller. We're not going to do that. I had an idea. I was using this week this Me eyeshadow crayon, and it's kind of like a soft taupey maroon. See what I mean? I'm going to lay this down first to give myself a bit of a shape, and then I'm going to build up more and more using my Charlotte Tilbury shimmers. I'm blending this out with a Morphe M131 concealer brush. And I just feel like then, when I've got a few layers, it will just help everything to wear nicely through the evening, build the intensity. And this crayon is kind of like a matte. So I've been finding it doesn't smudge. It's very, very nice. There we go. Interestingly, the video I'm going to put up tomorrow, me literally talking you through it before it goes on, when they had said, you know, it would be lovely to do something together, I had suggested a video about things that you can do to get your makeup to last for longer. And I had said in the video that the Bobbi sticks are so good, not only for lasting really well, but if you want to build and layer a few things into your routine, it's just more likely to last if you have done little layers and built them up bit by bit. And so that's why I had all of this kind of in my mind about the layers. And obviously the lovely thing about the position I'm in, that I'm really, really lucky to be in, is that people always want you to try their new things and, you know, give an indication of what works, what lasts. And the only way to do that really is to test things in like more extreme circumstances. I would feel better knowing I was recommending something to you that I have worn on a day where I've done my makeup at 7 o'clock in the morning and I got home at 9 p.m, rather than I went for lunch for 3 hours. It's not really an indication of how something's going to last. And actually, I think for a majority of us, it's far more likely that like people have a long day, don't they? You are going to want something that lasts for a long day. So I'm just like generally, I think I might need to tidy up a bit after this, won't I? I've gone a bit mad. Do you know what though? This is what I like about the smudgy smudgies. Like nothing needs to be super precise. I just want a general wash, and that actually is better for as the night goes on. The more precise your makeup is, the more of a nuisance it is to be staying on top of all night. Whereas because I'm just going for bit of like smudgy, we're going to be fine. Do you notice as well how high I've taken that up? Look where my natural crease ends and look where that eyeshadow has gone up to. And it's one of my favourite ways to make sure that like you're not selling yourself short on your eyelid space. For so many people that I speak to, they'll say, oh, I would love to wear this colour, but I've got a hooded eye shape, or I haven't got the same eye shape, or maybe I've got deep set eyes. These are the kinds of questions that I sometimes get. And I would say in that case, see if there's anywhere else around your eye that you could play with to put those colours on. So for a hooded eye, for example, and by the way, I am using a Hildun Beauty liner in chocolate. For a hooded eye shape, I always love putting the colour like on the lower lash line, because if the upper eye is, you know, maybe a bit more deep set, that's fine. But I would imagine that we could capture that lower lash, and then when you look forward on, you've got all of this to have a little play with. Ordinarily, I would really kind of pull around at my eyes here to get this on, because I do wear lenses. But I'm just going to kind of try and tickle it in and hope for the best. We'll see how we go. And everything's going to be super smudgy, not precise. So we'll be fine. I do also have some turquoise glitter here, because I've got like the teal and the plummies in this dress. I was a bit like, do I just work some purple in somewhere, some turquoise in somewhere? But we'll see how we go. So let me just see, that's feeling nice. I'm now going to go back in with that colour I originally chose. I might change my brush. Where's that little one that needed a wash? Here we go, PC35 back in action. I'm now going to layer some PC35 over. I have to say, I don't want to be like slanderous to these. They last really, really well on their own, they do. But I've got another train journey ahead of me. I know I'm tired, my skin is a bit dry, and all of these things really contribute to how long and how well your makeup will last. I feel like today, I just need every bit of help I can get in making sure this stays quite nice. And also another thing, it's lovely and bright today, fantastic. But my eyes stream quite a lot when it's bright. I think it's a rosacea thing, or like a sensitive eyes thing. So I don't want anything, like I wouldn't do like a nice liner flick today, because I know it'd just run on me. So I'm gonna get this on. Another thing you'll notice I'm doing is tilting my head back. And when I tilt my head back, I can get that eyeshadow right into every little nook and cranny there to get a smoother eyeshadow application. Right, sorry, I'm at my parents'. My dad just came in chatting away to me, you can hear him. I did a bit of like, I was still zhuzhing when he came in. I'm just gonna put some plum into this. I'm placing it on and I'm going to blend it separately. What will I blend it with is a question. Here we go. And I'm just going to mix a little bit of plum into this eye. I am happy with it, but it's a bit more coppery than I was expecting. And I want to be going for more of like the plummy of my dress. Even that feels a bit better. And again, I don't want any of this to be too perfect, because I want it to just be nice and soft and like a bit more chilled out. She says putting about like 50 million layers on, spending ages doing it. But do you know what I mean? I want it to look a bit more like I haven't spent all this time doing it. Right. And again, something I would do a lot is I'm kind of like adding this definition outside of these natural creases to make it look like my eye is bigger and go outside of that space. It just brightens and widens and expands everything a bit. Ah, okay. This eyeshadow palette I had put to one side and I didn't end up using. It's one of, you know, the new number 7 Pro range. I will use this at some point. Lovely, like pinky, soft colours. But this pink now on the lid is exactly the kind of colour I had in mind to just give this more of a plummy hue. And then I'm also going to take some of that more shimmery finish on the lower lash line, so that softness, you've now got the shimmer bleeding out into the matte, which bleeds out into nothing. I'm going to keep my eyeliner really simple. I'm going to put a little bit of that chocolate liner on the upper lashes, and can you see what I'm doing there? Yeah. Just kind of smudge it in. I don't want anything too perfect, but I do want a bit of depth there because it will help my lashes to look fuller when I get my mascara on. Oh. And I think the brown with these kind of colours just suits the mood a bit more. I think black would almost be a bit too polished, whereas a little soft brown, maybe even retracing now the soft brown with a bit of the plum that we put in the outer corners, this is a bit more like it. Great. I need to download some stuff to watch. I started this morning. It's so powerful. What's it called? Toxic Town on Netflix. Have you started that? I watched the first episode and a half with my mum, and then my sister came, so we turned it off. We're going to watch it tomorrow when I'm back. It was really, really upsetting, actually. They were all so brilliant in it. I've never seen Aimee Wood in something until The White Lotus the other day, and now I just think she's the best thing ever, and I want to go back and watch everything she's been in. And then Jodie Whittaker's in it as well, and she's just one of my favourites. Broadchurch is one of my favourite things I've ever seen, and I thought she was unbelievable in that. She plays these kinds of roles with so much compassion. I just think, you know, what an awful, awful ordeal for those families. But if that was your story and you knew that she was the person getting it across for you, you'd know that you were in really thoughtful hands. And the same with Aimee. She just seems absolutely lovely. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing that tomorrow, even though it is very sad. And then yesterday on the way home, I had a few things on my phone, and I was just quite tired. And you know, when you just want something that you've seen a million times and that you're really comfortable with. I'm using, by the way, the Lancome, I can't see the name, I'll write the name in the description. This Lancome mascara basically doesn't smudge, so it's purposefully why I've chosen it for this evening. On the way home, I just thought, I just want to watch something really easy that I've seen a million times, that I love and I don't really have to concentrate on. Motherland Christmas Special, the first one, fantastic. So I'll probably download a bit of Motherland for on the way today, actually, on the way home. Oh, and then it's the Brits tonight as well, isn't it? I'm doing a few hair and beauty roundups tomorrow, which would be nice. So I've got an early start in the morning to go through all the looks and see what stood out and get that written up too. Lovely. I'm going to go, what I'm going to do once I've finished this, I might do a little bit more powder. I'm going to bronze up the outer parts of my face a little bit, and go for like a softer lip with a matte finish. I found a handbag the other day that I've been looking for, and it was so funny. It had in it green mascara, green glitter, lovely nude lip that I'm going to use today. Well, it's like a pinky nude. What else is in there? Bright pink lipstick, all this stuff. And I was basically looking to myself thinking, this is something to do with Chapel Roan. And then I found butterfly hair clips and I was like, yeah, definitely. And I mentally went through, and basically when she toured here in September, what she does is she says to her fans, like, there's a theme for what I'd love you to wear on the night, and she gives a theme every night, and there were 4 different themes in the UK. And I thought, I want to go every single night, see what everyone's worn for each theme and make a little video of it. And I was looking through and I was like, this was my Midwest Princess theme night, and it was. So that must be the last time I've worn that bag. Okay, let's do the lips first. Let's finish them off and then we'll finesse, because actually the finishing touches might be quite nice. This is my Peaches Rosebud lip liner. There we go. With me, when I look forward on, my lips are symmetrical, but then when I actually start talking, they're not at all. So I try and keep still, get that right, and then I don't really care what happens when I start talking. At least I know I did the best I could with what was in front of me. Right, Vive Lippy in Pinch. This is such a lovely one that was also hidden in that bag. And it's like just enough colour that you feel like you've got a lippy on, but I don't feel like it's taken away from that eye. Although, let's be honest, is it a bit too corally for it? Let's finish everything off and see. That is quite corally. I love it though. I absolutely love that colour. Feel like if I took that away, like, we can all see how nice that is, but might be too much. Let's see. We'll see how we go. Now, what I'm going to do now is every step that I did in cream. This is a tip that Joe on the Beauty Concierge at Selfridges in Birmingham taught me. What he does to layer up colour is he does everything in cream, your cream foundation, your cream bronzer, your cream blush, highlighter, whatever. And then instead of setting it with translucent powder, he sets it with bronzer or blush or highlighter, whatever. So that's what I'm going to do. I've been using this little Rare Beauty brush this week. It is another stippling brush, which seems to be a theme in the videos at the moment. Instead of like rubbing it all over, I'm going to pat it on with the Bobbi Brown bronzing powder. What shade is this? In the shade Light. Now I'm going to use a little bit of House Labs Pomelo Peach on my cheeks. Again, picking it up and pressing it on rather than rubbing it in. Then I don't mean to be that really annoying person that got something on holiday and loves it, but here we are. I went to the IT Cosmetics counter in America the other week, and they have this Your Skin But Better CC Plus Airbrush Perfecting Powder. The IT Cosmetics powders are amazing because they make them with silk instead of talc, so nothing feels or looks dry. But this is slightly tinted instead of the one I always use is translucent. But this just gives a tiny, hang on a minute, have I got loads of drop down from my eyeshadow? I have. Yeah, hang on. Stay where we are. I'm going to need a tiny bit more CC cream so that we can do a big wowzer with this. I'm going to use the end of my brush. To be honest, if you're doing an eye makeup like this, it's always best to do your eyes first to avoid needing to do what I'm needing to do now. But How many times have I told you in these videos? Like, half the time. Like, we all know what the advice is, don't we? But sometimes you're, for whatever reason, just more inclined to do it another way, or you're in a rush, or... Also, it's really difficult that I know if I did this eyeshadow first and didn't have a base on, you wouldn't have watched it as long. I know that sounds crazy. I know some people will always be supportive, and that's lovely, but a lot of the time it looks really jarring and you can't see like the full picture. Whereas when I've got a base on and you can see that even though this is a bolder colour, it's all going to be okay because it's in the context of having a full base on, then it's a lot easier for you to trust that we'll all be okay and to feel like it's something you would actually wear. So there's that element to it as well, in particular if I'm thinking about making a video, because I want you to stay and watch it, and I would love at the end that you think, I've got a red eyeshadow, I'm going to try that tonight. Like, that would be something that I would enjoy so much more than, like, I always say what I'm using because it's useful and maybe you'll see something you like and you want, and that would be great. Let me put some highlighter on before I do anything else. Have I got any highlighter near me? I've got that would make a nice highlighter. Yeah, I always say what I'm using, you know, in case it's useful, but I don't ever need or expect you to get everything I've used. Like, we've all got bits of makeup that we don't use as much as we should, or you've been meaning to use it and you don't know how. This hopefully is just a nice way to give you some ideas for what colours all look like together, what you can do, where you could put things, and just allow you to have a bit of fun with your own stash. That would be my main dream that you'd be getting out of a video. I'm patting this on with a concealer brush, again from Morphe. Full disclosure, there are better brushes I could have done this particular step with. This is a great brush for buffing things in and giving a really lovely, well blended finish, but I fear if I pressed too hard with that on a fully set makeup, it would have started to lift things off, which isn't what I would like. I'm using my Morphe Mocha brow gel, and let's just fluff these brows right up. And if you haven't seen me use this before, I like to go quite berserk with this. When you first see it, you're going to be like, what has gone on here? But then give it a minute and you're a bit like, oh yeah, I can see what's gone on there. It's just a bit of a stark contrast to the tiny little taupe brows we started with. And I might just soften any edges there with the tail end of a softer brush. There we go. I'm in an iron about my hair at the moment. I was meant to get my roots done before Christmas and a family member wasn't very well, so I cancelled my appointment. I think the last time I had it done, I could go back and check actually, would be about September, and my roots have now really come through. And funnily enough, the last appointment I'd done, I was much blonder before it. But Maxine said to me, go for like a winter blonde. And I would never usually go for a winter blonde. I love being really, really blonde. But she talked me into it and I ended up loving it. And so it was actually such a blessing because now that I haven't had a chance to upkeep it, I feel like it's fine. But now I'm wondering, do I keep it a bit darker? I'm also a bit tempted to go strawberry blonde. I don't know what to do, I'll see. Those eyebrows feel huge now. I don't know what I've actually done there. I'm going to give that 10 minutes. I think they just feel huge because we saw what I was dealing with before that. But like, I feel like we can agree here. That's a very large set of eyebrows. Anyway, do you ever remember, I promise I will go now, like this is ridiculously long. Do you ever remember Daisy May Cooper putting her baby to bed and she was saying there was this boy called Charlie and he was in busted and he had very large eyebrows. That's how I feel in this moment. Anyway, How long is this video? I can't believe it. Have a lovely afternoon. I hope you liked that. Let me know if you give a try to any like little smudgy reds. I'd love it. And have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I'll chat to you soon.